This couldn't have happened at the worst time. I'm not sure how we're going to recover from this. As you know, Carolyn and I live in a little tiny house, 12 foot by 16 foot, that we built a couple years ago. We have solar panels, we got 12 of them, that power everything that we have. We power a well pump. We power freezers, some tablets, and phones. Just recently, Carolyn's son was staying with us. We bought a camper, and he was staying in there, and we were powering that as well. We, on sunny days, were able to power an air conditioner, and we were really improving our system significantly. Bought 2 new solar panels and a new charge controller. Moved the panels up so they got sun a couple hours early. Moved all our batteries into a new shed that we just bought. Things were really looking up. We got some chickens. Got, I think, 16 chickens, and they've been doing pretty good. They've been producing a lot this summer. Just recently they dropped down. I fear there's a black snake maybe taking their eggs or scaring them so they're not producing as many. I've been trying to catch him in the act or whatever, but he's so quick. I've seen him twice, and every time I get near him, he just slithers off just as fast as he can. I've not seen him in the cage, but I have seen him around. And then there was a small snake. I'm not even sure what that was. It was copper color, so of course my brain went right to copper snake, copperhead. But I doubt if that's what it. Anyway, I got him. Life's been pretty smooth for us, and we don't really get to see what's going on around the world too much, except what we can find on YouTube. We watch Netflix or Direct Prime TV, whatever you want to call that, at night from about 5 to 7-ish. We just don't get the news too much. And the news that we get is pretty selective because they don't put everything on YouTube. Unless a commenter tells me something, I'm not sure. So I rely on YouTube significantly. And I learned recently that, and I didn't know this, that all the power has been shut off throughout the United States. I find that fascinating because there's still internet, so I'm not sure how that happened. Now the thing is occasionally we go into town, there's a gas station and a Dollar General down the road a ways, and they appear to still have power, but maybe it's not my area, but I was under the understanding that the entire grid is shut down. And then on top of that, there was a financial collapse that I was unaware of. Now, I knew there was a inflation and it was pretty high. I mean, even the mainstream media was talking about that, and it didn't even matter what channel you were talking about. Now, some were spinning it different ways, but regardless, everybody agreed there was inflation. It was pretty high. And we saw things go up in price. It really didn't affect us too bad. I would say that the thing that affected us most was food. We were spending about $175 a month on food, and it went up to about $200 a month. Since then, there has been this financial collapse, and apparently the only thing that you can exchange now is gold, food, or firewood. Now, I've been saying for a very long time that firewood is more important to me than gold. I don't think that's a good investment if you're worried about financial collapse. If there's a financial collapse, gold's value, if you think about it, I mean, it has its own value, but when they talk about gold prices just went up, gold prices went up because of the value of the dollar dropped. Gold stays the same value. 100 years ago, I could have bought a cord of wood, just using that as an example, for a gold coin, 1 ounce gold coin. I'm just using it as an example. It's a really silly example. So, cord of wood, 1 ounce gold, 100 years ago. Today, 1 ounce gold, 1 cord of wood. So the value of the wood and the gold didn't change. It was the value of the dollar that changed, because 100 years ago, that gold coin may only have been worth $5 or $6. But now it's worth what? Almost, what, 3,000? I don't know. Your gold didn't get better. It's just the same gold. I didn't understand all that, why they were telling me to go get gold because the financial system was going to collapse. I went out and bought, well, I didn't even buy it. I got firewood, and got this app, and I don't have the app anymore. I've changed out my phone. I didn't download it again. I'll get it again, but it's called Free Stuff. You go on the app store, it says Free Stuff, and I've heard from my commenters that they are using the app. One gentleman down in Texas, he found some firewood. Unfortunately, this happens. He went to go get it. There was an elderly man there already there getting it, so he helped the elderly man load his truck and got a bottle of water out of it. That happens. I mean, you got to be on top of it. I agree. An hour late, it's too much. I remember one time we went well, it was a long trip, let's put it that way. Got some firewood one day, went back the next morning to get some more, got home, was going to unload, go back and get some more, and the guy said, if you're not going to come to get this firewood, I've given it to somebody else, so don't bother coming back. And I replied back, I was just there this morning. Oh, I didn't see you. I must have been asleep. Now, the other thing is it's my understanding that we've already been in a nuclear war. I didn't know that either. I mean, I heard about this conflict between well, I don't want to mention it because YouTube might get mad at me, which I don't understand. If there's a financial collapse and the entire grid has went down, I don't understand how I'm still able to post videos, but YouTube's allowing it, and I get quite a few views, so there must be a lot of people living off grid like us. Maybe YouTube's off grid, I don't know. So if you're off grid, you can probably still watch my videos. 4,000, 5,000 people a day tune in, so I mean, I must be really selling a great package here, telling everybody to get solar panels. I mean, I don't tell anybody how to spend their money, but I assume that's why you're here. So we were under a nuclear attack, and you had to take this pill so you didn't get thyroid cancer. And everybody was ordering that, to the point that Amazon, which I don't understand how Amazon's still in business with all the financial collapse and the power outages, but they were out. They didn't have any more of this pill. You're not allowed to grow gardens anymore. I didn't know that. I mean, I don't grow garden. We only eat meat, eggs. But apparently there was a thing the USDA did, and you had to register your garden, so now the garden is under the control of the government. I tell you, we've been here 3 years, and a lot has changed in the 3 years. I mean, who knew? And I don't know if I feel that isolated. I mean, I feel like we kind of stay connected the best we can, even though we're off grid. I know a lot of people say, why are you on YouTube if you're off grid? Well, I didn't say I was going to be an isolationist. I still need to make money. YouTube's a good platform to do that on. And the thing is even with the financial collapse, I'm still able to spend my money and earn money. It's not great all the time. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just really strange to me how everything has happened around us, and it's like there's a big dome over us. And a lot of people will say, hey, it's because you're off grid. I mean, one person said to me the other day, she had a power outage. And she was thinking about me because we don't see power outages here. We don't even know about them. And that's true. Twice now, we've had a power outage around here. Didn't know it until the power came back on, and I was on, Facebook, and somebody on the community groups said, yeah, we lost power, what happened? And, the car hit the pole or whatever. That's happened twice. Didn't know it. I think there was a power outage the other day, I think. The storm came through, and it was just a real quick storm, and I think the power went out. It was 9, 10 o'clock at night, so I don't know how many people it affected. But I'm sure if the air conditioner's down, that's when people are screaming. Of course, I'm being a little sarcastic here. And of course, I'm talking about the prepping channels. I don't understand why they have to cause so much fear. I mean, I understand preppers. Actually, probably better than most. I was a prepper. I was a conspiracy theorist. I believed that the world was coming to an end, probably 20 years ago. And I was doing everything I could to prevent that from happening. And so I learned how to can food and got some solar panels. And the more I got into it, the more I realized I am not ready for anything. We lived in town, and we were on city water. You can't live without water. If something would have happened, we'd have ran out of water. It was just that simple. And I didn't really have a solid plan on how to fix it. And I suspect that's the way it is with most of these preppers on YouTube. They talk a big game, but in the back of your mind, you know, well, how are they handling this situation? How are they handling that situation? And the thing is, they never really tell you exactly how they're handling things. Oh, I got a solar generator. Okay, so you got a day's worth of energy. That's great. I've got an air conditioner. I'm going to run it off this solar generator for an hour. They just never, ever tell you how they're going to do it. But they will scare you into buying all the radiation pills off Amazon. I mean, I only looked it up on Amazon just to see what they were talking about. I really wasn't interested in buying it. I just looked it up. What is this thing? I forget what it's called, but and they were sold out. And I'm thinking, these people scared all these people into buying these pills. I'm sure other people said it, but that's all we live in, is just let's scare everybody to death. And they seem to me that they just sit there and hope and pray that something could, shtf they call it, stuff hits the fan, actually happens. And I remember this feeling. I was the same way when I was a prepper. I know it's a terrible thing to think, but you really hoped that something would happen. I mean, think about it. You buy a new car, for example. What do you want to do with it? You want to go drive it. At least, I guess guys think this way. You go out and buy a new gun. Boy, what do you want to go do? You want to go out and shoot it. You go out and buy a new lawnmower. What do you want to do? Go out and cut grass. It's just in your bones that if you buy something, you want to go play with it. Well, here you are, a prepper. You got all this equipment sitting there, and you can't play with it. You can't do anything with it. I had solar panels on top of my house, and we hooked up. It was we kind of separated our house is what we did. We had two breaker boxes. On one breaker box, we had some of our electrical appliances like the TV and the refrigerator hooked up to the grid. And then on the other breaker box, we had some lights and different things hooked up to the solar panels. So we used them, but never in a situation where we really needed them. I always had this plan that if the grid went down, of course, I'd just hook the refrigerator. The entire time I had solar panels, I never had to put the refrigerator on the solar panels. Electric never went out the entire time I had solar panels. Did right before I got them. And so the whole time you're like, boy, I wish I could test this. I really want to see if it's going to work. I want to show off, at least to myself. And so that's how these people feel. They want to play with their toys, but their wife isn't going to let them. Why are you hooking that up? We don't need that. They have to put it away in the closet and wait for a catastrophe. And I tell you, I mean, one guy said he lost electric, and he was absolutely giddy. I got to use my whatever. Oh, they pray that something bad's going to happen. So they're out there on those websites, and they're looking at all the conspiracy theories, and they get on there. Okay, the next big catastrophe tomorrow, the grid is going to go down. They have literally predicted this stuff. I have seen one YouTuber predict 5 or 6 different catastrophes that were supposed to happen in the last year, and we're still here. You know, I get the minor catastrophes, and I understand if people want to prepare for them, especially if you live in an area prone to that stuff. If you live in Florida, obviously you're going to want to prepare for hurricanes. If you live in the Midwest, you're going to want to prepare for power outages because they're going to last a while around here. If you live in Texas, you got to be careful with Texas because it never gets snow. So when it does snow, it's a catastrophe. And it happened like 2 or 3 years ago. Power went out, everything happened. So you want to prepare for those things, but that's not SHTF. That's not the thing that these people are praying for and scaring you to death to prepare for. So you go on Amazon and spend $40, $50 to prepare for it, taking you one step further from your dream. Here's the deal. I don't plan for the SHTF. If it happens, like that subscriber said, I may not even know about it for a while. I'm living my dream, and that's what I try to promote here on this channel, is I want you to live your dream. And if it's living off grid, then I've said go get yourself one solar panel, Rich Solar off of Amazon, $80, charge controller, a battery from Walmart, and an inverter from Walmart. So for about $400, you have at least one solar panel that you can do things with. At least learn how to use it. And from that point, just add on. Buy yourself up to 6. You can do that within a year, $80 a month maybe. Put the money aside. To go out and spend all your money to store in a closet. The difference between me and a prepper is they store all their junk in a closet. I use mine every day. I don't have to pay electric bill because I have electric that I'm using. They store their electric in a closet and pay for the electric bill. They're going to run themselves broke, and they're going to run their subscribers broke also. So if you'll click this up next box, take to a video where I was talking about some extreme situations happening on our planet that didn't transpire. So if I can inspire you to live your dreams, stop being so afraid. Thanks for watching.